Especially when we find someone like Ibn Asakir in his book Tabyin Kadhib al-Muftari, as you see it now. He is saying that the followers of Imam Ash'ari, they used to believe in this book, Al-Ibana, the strongest belief. And they depend their faith and ideology on it. So why the Ash'aris dismiss it? Keep it behind their backs. In fact, accusing the Salafis that they twisted it and changed some of it, parts of it. Really? Such a baseless accusation, reminding me the accusation of the church against the Muslims that they changed the book of Barnabas. It's the same thing exactly. A PhD thesis was submitted by an academic Egyptian woman whose name is Fawqiyya Hussein Mahmoud. She served hardly the book of Ibana, depending on 4 original manuscripts of the book Al-Ibana, proving its authenticity, that it had not been touched by anyone, although she is not Salafi, and that no one messed with the book. This is the woman who died recently. She's a teacher in the University of Egypt, Ain Shams. So, as Ash'aris who care about the sources of your Imam, didn't you have a copy free from this so-called alleged changing? Or you're lazy? Or you don't want to let people know about the book? Once people realize that this is the book that Imam Ash'ari ended up with, people will be leaving the Ash'ariyya, coming to Salafiyya.
وقد تركز هذا المذهب فيما بعد عصر أتباع التابعين وأتباعهم في أتباع الإمام أحمد، فلذلك أصبح يشتهر المذهب الحنابلة، مع أنه لا يختص بالحنابلة، بل عليه كثير من أهل العلم من مختلف المذاهب، وعليه أهل الحديث. المذهب الثاني هو مذهب أبي الحسن علي بن إسماعيل الأشعري، وهو شافعي في الفقه، ولكن له مذهب في الاعتقاد. كان أولا معتزليا فرجع عن ذلك إلى مذهب السنة، وقد اجتهد في هذه المسائل ولم يخرج عن المنهج، وهذا الاجتهاد بالضرورة لا بد أن يكون فيه خطأ وفيه صواب، كالاجتهاد الذي سبقه أيضا.
Excellent, Sheikh Dadoo. That's fine.
Say? He said,
which means
when he repented,
that Abu Hassan al-Ash'ari, who did not establish a madhab by himself, but you know how the madhabs take place
Imam Ahmad,
gradually, time by time.
Have a look at the book Fath al-Bari.
So the Ash'aris now, they're supposed to be following their Imam Ash'ari wherever he goes. Where did he go? To the Aqidah of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, which is, without any disagreement, the core of the Sunni Aqidah, Ahl Sunnah
disagreeing
Aqidah. That's
that with Imam Ahmad.
But tell us now,
who affirmed,
are the Ash'aris on the
speaking with voice
same doctrine of Ahmad? The answer is no, and you cannot prove otherwise. If Abu Hassan al-Ash'ari became Hanbali, why the Ash'aris do not become Hanbali today? Why do they call themselves Ash'ari while their Ash'ari became Hanbali? Otherwise, look, I'm ready to make a debate with you. Don't call it debate, call it dialogue. Open dialogue about are the Ash'aris and the Maturidis Ahl Sunnah or not. I'm ready for a debate with you. And it's worth debating with you about that, because when people hear your words, they will be saying, oh, mashallah, oh, so it's okay. So we can be Ash'aris according to what this big scholar Dadoo says to us. They don't say only we're Ash'aris, but they fight the teachings of Imam Ahmad under the name of Ash'ari. But let us give you a small glimpse, a small example about the disagreement between the Ash'aris and Imam Ahmad by confession of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, the commentator of Bukhari, who said that the Ash'aris believed
How do you include
that Allah
al-Maturidi
speaks in His
in
soul.
Ahl Sunnah? Do you
They did
know
not affirm
what
to
scholars
Allah that He
say
speaks
about
with a
him?
voice. But Imam Ahmad
They
says
said
something
that he's
else.
closer to
He said that
Mu'tazila
Allah
than
speaks
the
with
Ash'aris.
voice.
Do you know that the Maturidis
We will back this
accused
testimony
the Ash'aris
with the
in
testimony of
disbelief?
Bukhari himself,
You know why? Because the Ash'ari say
who hardly
I am
strongly
mu'min,
believed
inshallah.
that Allah speaks with
Now,
voice.
the Maturidis
The
accuse
Ash'aris
them
will never
of
believe it.
being doubtful about their iman.
Even there is a
They say, "I
hadith,
am
clear
mu'min,
hadith,
inshallah."
that Allah speaks by a voice
not
that can be heard at
affirming,
the Day of Judgment, by those who
assuring
are close as well as
that they
those
have
who are
faith.
far
The same-
distant.
Inshallah, I have faith.
Imam Bukhari said,
Maturidis were not happy.
there is no resemblance between
They
Allah's
said
voice
the
and
Ash'aris
creature's voice because Allah's voice can be heard from far and from close.
in that.
Do Ash'aris believe in
And
that?
prayer
No.
is not allowed to be
They are
performed
against
behind
Ahmad
them.
ibn Hanbal. They are against Al-Bukhari, and I challenge for this.
not
I'm
allowed.
ready to debate with you,
So they're not one.
Sheikh Dadoo, on that.
They're not
Will you be
included in
accepting?
the Sunnah.
I'm waiting,
No.
and I'm ready. It's worth doing this because
Who said
millions
that
of
they're closer
people
to the
today, they've
Mu'tazila?
been deceived by your
Muhammad
testimony,
Abu Zahra,
fraud,
Azhari,
false testimony
Ash'ari,
that
Maturidi
Ash'aris are
scholars.
Ahl Sunnah.
But he had to
If you
speak
compare
the
them
truth.
with the Aqidah of
Because
Ahmad,
the
they
Maturidi
neither follow
are
Ahmad
far
nor follow
away
Ash'ari to what he had
than Ahl
ended
Sunnah,
up with.
closer to
Let's
the Mu'tazila.
have a look at the testimony of
Sheikh
Bukhari
Muhammad
from
Abu
his
Zahra
book,
and many other people.
through his
They
book,
declared
Khalq Af'al al-Ibad. And I wish
admitted
that this book
that
can
this
be
is the
translated
case.
into English,
That's
so
the
people will be knowing who are the Salaf and the Salafi true Aqidah is. Let's go.
As Imam Bukhari narrated, that Allah at the Day of Judgment will be speaking with a voice that can be heard from those who are close as well as those who are far. All will be hearing his voice. This is not true. The Ash'aris disagreed with this. Is not true. Until now, the Maturidis, they say Allah has a
In
soul
the
speech
fiqh
only.
madhab, that means he speaks in his soul.
They have many
Now,
accusations
what did
against the
Ash'ari
Shafi'i.
say? He said, when he repented,
For
for example,
example,
they
is the way
believe
of
that
Ahmad ibn
Hanbal. That's
a
all.
Shafi'i
Period.
man is not allowed
Ash'aris
to
today
marry a
disagree with
Hanafi woman.
Imam Ahmad.
The other
Have a
way
look at the book Fath
is
al-Bari,
okay. Like Maturidi,
volume
Hanafi
13, page
man marries a
350.
Shafi'i
Remember,
woman.
or
You know what they said?
406.
They said we apply on
He's
them
saying
the ruling
that
of
the
the Quran
Ash'aris
about the people of the book.
did not accept to
We
believe
can
that Allah
marry
speaks with
women
voice
who are from the people of the book,
disagreeing,
but we
on
don't
that
allow the people
with
of the
Imam
book,
Ahmad,
the men
who
who affirm the
affirmed
book,
to
marry
Allah the voice,
a Hanafi
speaking with voice.
woman.
This is all because Ilm al-Kalam, the thing that you allowed, you permitted, you justified. You are sharing with the Ash'aris this felony,
Multi-madhabs
Sheikh Dadoo.
has a black history,
You said a while ago that
killing one another,
the false madhab is the madhab that
hating.
refuses to comply with the texts of the book and the Sunnah. And that's what the Ash'aris do.
Hating one another.
And I'm not in a position to put all of their rejection, but I'm giving one or two examples to show the felony of the Ash'aris and the justification you're making. You'll be responsible at the Day of Judgment of those who fell in this madhab because of your fatwa.
المذهب الثالث مذهب أبي نصور الماتريدي، وهو في الفقه على مذهب أبي حنيفة، وأنه مذهب مستقل في الاعتقاد، وهو قريب من مذهب أبي الحسن الأشعري.
This is nonsense answer. The Maturidis are Hanafis in matters of
In
fiqh.
another video, he said,
Yes. What the madhab of Hanafi has something to do with the Maturidis.
People of Hadith, Salafi,
Maturidis means
Ash'aris,
a madhab
Maturidis.
based on ilm al-kalam,
Quotes
philosophy.
Imam Safarin.
And if they were
he
really
said,
following Abu
when the
Hanifa,
word Ahl Sunnah
they
is
would have
mentioned, it's
prohibited
not
this ilm al-kalam
Salafis
because
and
Abu
Ash'aris
Hanifa
and Maturidis.
prohibited it.
But it doesn't
Likewise, the
continue
Shafi'is.
reading
They're not
what
Shafi'is
Imam
in
Safarin said
Aqidah, they are Shafi'is in
He
fiqh.
said,
But yet
when
they're
the
not
Prophet talked
obeying
about
Imam Shafi'i. who
the
said
saved
clearly
cult, the
ilm
saved
al-kalam
group.
is
He
haram.
mentioned one.
And they're not like Imam Ash'ari in his
the saved
aqidah.
group cannot be
Ash'ari repented and followed
We have
Ahmad ibn Hanbal.
Ash'aris and
Yet the
Maturidis.
Maturidis
We have
are
Salafis and
extremely philosophic
Then he
to the
said,
extent that
the Sunni people
Azhari
are
scholar,
those who
his
follow
name
the
is
athar,
Muhammad
the
Abu
narrations.
Zahra.
Their
He used
dealing
the testimony of
compliance
Kawthari
is to the book of
that the
Hadith.
Maturidis are closer to the Mu'tazila
And
than the
For those
Ash'ari
people
people.
of philosophy,
Forget about Imam
they are not
Ash'ari.
Ahlul
Imam Ash'ari
Athar.
repented.
They are
His way
Ahlul
is the way of
Nadar.
Ahmad ibn Hanbal.
They depend
Why you don't give
on
details? Why you give
mind.
nonsense quick answers?
more than
That
dealing
doesn't
with
solve the
these
problem.
narrations.
People need to
How
know
can those
what they
people
should
of
believe.
Athar
Your answer is
and
nothing.
people of Nadar can be
That's what
as
makes
one
me really sad.
cult. Can't be.
I'm not trying to attack you,
So the Dadoo
but you don't give
Sheikh Dadoo
any
did not
good
quote
answer. They say the Salafis don't follow the four madhabs,
just use
while they themselves
the-
disobey the madhabs.
الأشعري وبينهما تقريبا 24
the
فرقا.
previous statement.
فهذه
that's all.
حقيقة
And between the
continue
Ash'aris and the
reading
Maturidis,
From a
24
Safari, he will be finding the
disagreements
same conclusion
in matters of aqidah. He's not
That's
talking
why I
about fiqh.
believe about this man. He's great.
Now,
he's nice. He's
One
lot
of the
knowledge,
disagreements
mashallah.
that
But
no
in many
Maturidi
cases,
is allowed to
He
pray
has a
behind
strategy
Ash'ari Imam,
of not causing the ummah to be divided.
because the
That's why he
Ash'aris
does not
say,
tell the truth. as
I
to-
am mu'min,
I
inshallah.
disagree with that.
The Maturidis
say,
attack them and say
This unity
those
of the ummah should
are
not be on the
doubtful
account of the truth.
of their faith,
Of the
Iman.
truth.
That's why they say, I am mu'min, inshallah.
Because
So no
people
prayer
will
should be performed
encouraged
behind them.
not to follow the truth.
And the
because of
Maturidis
the
say
fatwa of this
that
man.
we're allowed to marry
This
Shafi'i
is
women,
a cheating.
but
Sheikh.
Shafi'i men are not allowed
Not
to take
supposed
from
to be
our
married.
Hanafi daughters.
Wassalamu alaikum.
We apply on them the same ruling of Ahlul Kitab. Horrible. Horrible. Why Sheikh Dadoo wants to
Assalamu
keep
alaikum.
the Ummah
I so
on the same
translated
old style?
short
You cause people to hate
statements
religion
for
and to
Sheikh
criticize religion
Muhammad ad-Dadoo.
because of the negative
scholar.
stereotype
I admit.
that the
does
Madhabis
not
people
make
today are
things
following.
المذاهب الثلاثة هي مذاهب أهل السنة في
For the
الاعتقاد.
sake of
وهذه
clarity,
المذاهب
he doesn't.
Now,
For example,
he's saying that the three
he
madhahib,
mentioned the hadith
Salafis,
of the concubine.
Maturidis, Ash'aris,
The hadith
they
is known.
form the
Muawiyah ibn
Ahl
Hakam
Sunnah
al-Sulami,
madhab of
and he
belief.
counted
This is
the
not
sheeps,
true.
the number of the sheep that the
Look,
concubine
you quoted
came
a
with.
Safarini
So he found
that
them
he said that
missing
Ahl
one.
Hadith, Ahl Sunnah
he
are
got
three:
angry. So he hit her, slapped her
Ash'aris,
on the face.
Maturidis,
He regretted. He went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam
Hanbalis,
and
Ahl
told him what he
Hadith.
did. Then the Prophet said to him,
You
"Bring
stopped
her."
there, you did not continue
He
what
brought
he
her.
said.
The Prophet
He
asked
said
her,
after
"Where
that
is Allah?"
that the Prophet mentioned
She said,
as one cult,
"In
the saved
as-sama,
one.
in the height."
One cult.
Now, Sheikh Muhammad ad-Dadoo, he
The people of
changed it.
Hadith
Despite
deserve
this
it
narration, as
to
I
be the
uttered
saved
it,
sect.
is in Sahih
But how the
Muslim.
people of Nadar can be
What Ad-Dadoo
included with the people of
He brought
Athar.
some other narrations
Athar means those
which
who
are not
limit
as
themselves to the
authentic
book
as
and the
this one.
Sunnah by
Claiming
the
that
understanding of
concubine
Salaful Ummah,
was dumb.
Sahaba.
She doesn't speak. And she
How
was
can those
giving
be
signs
together?
To the
The Prophet mentioned
height.
one, and now we are
So what?
including two more. And those
Either she
two
is
more
dumb
included,
Or she spoke.
their faith is based on
At
philosophy.
She
Ilm
should live to
al-kalam.
the height. That means Allah.
This is what the
is-
Safarini said. But the
So that
problem with
doesn't
Ad-Dadoo,
benefit
he took one
you,
part of
Sheikh
his
Dadoo,
statement
at all.
and he left the other.
But
This is the
authentic
Sheikh Dadoo.
narration, as I
That's why
mentioned,
we criticize
even
his
not only
nonsense
Muslim,
answers
even
to the
Malik in
questions.
his book Al-Muwatta,
Despite my
he narrated
personal
it
respect to the man.
authentically.
But I disagree
Same narration. Imam
with the
Malik
way
made a
he
slight
submit,
mistake.
he present
Instead of calling
the answers to the
Sahabi
questions.
Muawiyah
Those answers,
ibn
Sheikh
al-Hakam
Dadoo,
al-Sulami,
do
he
not
called
solve
him
problems.
ibn al-Hakam al-Sulami.
As if your
Imam
answers
Shafi,
say to the
He
people,
corrected
just
that in
stay
2 or 3
on the
books, as
things
far as
the
I remember.
Ummah
He
is
corrected it and he said that
situated
Malik made a
with.
mistake
That's all.
in naming the Sahabi.
مثل المذاهب الفقهية مثل المذهب الحنفي
But Shari
والشافعي
does say that
والمالكي
it's
والحنبلي.
not authentic.
He said that the
Shafi'i
Ash'ari and
does say that
Maturidi
this
is just
narration
like
is
the
weak.
Hanafi, Shafi'i,
Ibn
Maliki.
Hajar,
Since you believe in those four
quoted
madhabs,
in Fath
take
al-Bari,
those two philosophic madhabs as
saying
well.
that this
can't
narration is in Sahih
It's not
Muslim
accepted.
and it's authentic.
الحنبلي في الفقه اتسعت صدور الأمة لوجود هذه المذاهب.
Now, what Adid did, he
The
said she was
the
dumb.
chests of people
She doesn't speak.
have been
She signaled up.
widely accepted those madhahib. That's not true. There's a big
Now, he
disagreement.
tried to
And
please-
the
this is the
chests
problem.
of
I know
Ash'aris
Sheikh Dadoo
are
very
so
well.
much
He tried
narrowed
to please his community.
against those who do not
Ash'aris.
accept the Ash'ari doctrine to the extent
Who
that
deny
Shirazi
Allah is up.
said that whoever
saying
does
that
not
if you-
learn the Ash'ari,
If you
his doctrine
claim that
based
Allah
on
is
the
up,
Ash'ari belief,
that means
he
you
is
have
kafir.
cornered Allah,
Look at the document.
surrounded Allah, limited
He is
Allah
kafir,
in
this
a place.
believer.
That's what he claims.
See, Sheikh Dadoo.
So, Sheikh
Let's
Dadoo,
continue.
are you correcting
وللتعبد
the
على
Prophet
أساسها
Muhammad?
ولم يلم أحد
Are
أحدا.
you telling him that he
Nobody
shouldn't be
blamed
uttering
anyone.
these kinds of horrible
That's not
words
true.
that
The
surround
Maturidis,
Allah, put him in a
They
corner?
blame the Ash'ari too much.
Those are the Ash'aris. So be aware of them.
How come you say nobody? Even Juwayni blamed Ash'ari for his belief about Jabr, forced belief, which means that everything you do, you're forced by Allah to do. Juwayni said this is Jabr, but Imam Ash'ari modified the word Jabr to Kasb. Even Juwayni criticized Imam Ash'ari for that. How dare you say that?
اختفى أحد الأئمة المتبوعين من أئمة أهل السنة في المجال العملي التعبدي وغيره، في المعاملات، في العبادات، في التركات، في غيرها. كذلك المذاهب العقدية، لأنهم متفقون جميعا على هذه الأصول، وإنما يختلفون في الأمور التي يمكن أن يختلف فيها الاجتهاد،
Yeah, so
وحينئذ
this
لا
is okay.
يمكن أن
No
يلام
problem with
أحد
this.
منهم.
As
How
long
come
as
our
the
disagreements with the Ash'aris is because
parameters
their agreement with the
are different
Jahmis
than the normal
in
square one
denying the attributes
or
of Allah,
flat.
twisting their
example,
meanings, giving them different
pray
meanings, and those different
behind the
meanings
Imam
similar to the
in Mecca,
Jahmiyyah meanings.
And you take the
How
first
come you
line,
say
you may be in
no
front
one
of the
blamed the
Imam,
other about that, and
facing
they
him
all,
face to
they,
face,
all of them,
but
they
you're
form the
behind him.
same
but you are in front of
undisputed
him.
belief. That's
Yes,
not true.
because this is
Despite the disagreement
rounded
between the
line.
Maturidis and the
it's not
Ash'ari
a flat line, it's rounded.
people, they
That's
both
why
agree on
If your
attacking the
foot meets
Salafis,
with the foot of the one who is,
accusing
for
them
example,
when they
in Damascus,
affirm Allah's attributes that
You're
they
not
are
gonna say
making
you are
Allah
down.
similar
You're not
body
gonna
to the
say he's
bodies
down
of His
below you.
creatures.
No,
Isn't this
because your feet,
big disagreement that causes
not your-
hatred,
your feet
bigotry,
and his-
and
your
division?
foot and his head.
Sheikh Dadoo?
No. So this
As I
is
said, you are not submitting a remedy for the injuries that the Ummah is suffering from. You don't. Let's continue.
فمن أصاب منهم له أجران ومن أخطأ له أجر.
No, no. Those who follow philosophic way in terms of dealing with Allah's attributes, they are not rewarded, and their ijtihad is not accepted.
he's saying that there is no direction that can.
How
limit
come?
Allah?
They're saying Allah
I say
stawa.
Allah does
He went over
whatever
his throne.
He will.
It means istawla.
Allah
That means
said
he
that is in
returned
the height.
his throne to be under his
Ash'ari
control.
himself,
He
said
returned
Allah is
the
in height
control
apart from
of
down.
his throne. What is that?
He's up.
Is
apart
this
from
ijtihad
down.
that Allah will be rewarding them for?
So we affirm
This
to
ijtihad
Allah
is the same
what
meaning
Allah
that the
affirmed
Mu'tazila and
himself.
Jahmiyyah give.
Since
How
he
dare you
told
say
us
that?
He's up, so we believe
وكل
That is
مجتهدون ولم يخرجوا عن المنهج.
They are
Give
all
him no
mujtahid,
consideration
and they did not deviate
to those
from the neutral
demonic
legal way.
doubts.
That is not an
If he
answer.
is up, so
My
What doesn't mean
advice
that he's with you, whatever you be.
to the one who
Those
watched my video,
doubts are given by those
the
Jahmi
Prophet
people.
said there will be a group, sallallahu
We
alaihi wasallam,
don't give them
a
any
group of my nation.
consideration.
They will
Let's
be
continue.
standing for the truth, a parent for the truth. That means they do not play games. They do not let the truth be blurred, unclear. They are clearly standing on the truth, caring not about the blame they get from anyone. And they will not be harmed about any blame given to them. I ask Allah that I and those who follow the Salafi way, they deserve to be qualified in this hadith.
This
They are qualified to
statement
be
he's given
included
now
in this hadith.
has no basis. It's meaningless. Nobody said that this concubine has the highest iman over any other one. Nobody said that. But the Prophet said, after she said that Allah is up, she said, not signed, not signaled. The Prophet said to her owner, free her, for she is a believer. So the Prophet approved that she is a believer. Whether she signaled or she spoke, finish, she is a believer. And there's no need, we're not going to argue about whose faith is higher. Nobody said that she has the highest faith. Nobody said it. The point is, why she deserves to be described as a believer? Because she believed what Allah said in the Quran. أَأَمِنْتُم مَّن فِي السَّمَاءِ. Are you secured of the one who is in the height? So it's worth that the Prophet test people with this kind of question. It is a matter of faith. Otherwise, those who say that Allah is not in the height, they are disagreeing with this ayah in the Quran. Are you secured of the one who is in the height, as-sama? Let's continue. They say that Allah is in the height. They don't mean by that the heaven, the sky, surround Allah, contains Allah. Nobody said that. The word sama means height. I did not say sky, because those 7 layers of the sky, they are under the throne of Allah. And we are calling them skies, not the height. The height is ever over, higher even than the skies. So that's why I use the word height. So he's not making a point. But anyway, he is not that bad. I respect him. Still he's proving that Allah is in the height. But contradicting himself by saying that he cannot be contained, we don't believe that he is, etc., etc. There's no need to say it. We know that Allah is over his 7 layers, 7 skies. He's over that. He's over his throne. That's it. And no need to make details that will be welcoming the whisperings of the devil. No need. The other thing is, I found for him another video. Let's see what he's saying, and then I'll comment on that. Let's see.
وما يتعلق بهذه الأصول من المسائل وما كان منها نصيا جاء به رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من عند الله وعرفه أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس مذهبا لأحد. فالمذاهب لم تبدأ إلا بعد أيام الصحابة وحتى بعد أيام التابعين. بعد ذلك ما زاد على هذه الأصول والمسائل المنصوصة من الأمور الاجتهادية التي فيها إما محاولة لجمع ما يوهم التعارض أو محاولة لإجابة بعض الأسئلة العقلية الفلسفية، فهذا اجتهاد. وهذا الاجتهاد جاء الاجتهاد فيه منقسما إلى قسمين: إلى اجتهاد بدعي وهو الذي يخالف النص ويرد على الله ورسوله، وهذا كفر في أغلبه، ومنه ما يكون غير كفر لأنه ليس مصادما للنص ولكن فيه مخالفة للمنهج. هذا النوع هي مذاهب العقدية المنحرفة مثل المعتزلة ومثل الجهمية ومثل القدرية ومثل الجبرية.
Note here that he did not mention the Ash'ariyah, which is a common... No, it reaches to 50. Why I've been quoting spread madhab today. Go to my book, the Encyclopedia of Ahl Sunnah. They are half Mu'tazila. You're going to find that. Half. But anyway, Mu'tazila, how do you include al-Maturidi in Ahl Sunnah? Ash'ari himself, do you know, was serving them for 40 years about him. Then he repented from them. They said that my way is closer to Mu'tazila than the Ash'aris. Because Allah, do you know that the Maturidis accused the Ash'ari in disbelief? Because the Ash'ari says, I am mu'min insha'Allah. But those who took his name, the Maturidis, accused them of they continued the way of Mu'tazila. He's saying, I am mu'min insha'Allah, by using his name. They're not affirming, a conspiracy, assuring that what's happening, that they have. If you look at the same, their way of belief, it resembles. Maturidis were not happy with this. They said maybe half of it, the Ash'ari even more, committing kufr in the madhab of Mu'tazila. And prayer is not allowed to be performed behind them. So they did not mention the Ash'ari. Not one. Why? Let's continue. They're not included in Ahl Sunnah. No. Who said that they are closer to the Mu'tazila? Muhammad Abu Zahra is an Azhari, Ash'ari, Maturidi scholar. But he had to speak the truth. That the Maturidis, they are far away than Ahl Sunnah, closer to the Mu'tazila. Sheikh Muhammad Abu Zahra, he divided ijtihad into bid'ah ijtihad, Mu'tazila, they admitted Jahmiyyah, etc. And Sunni ijtihad. Then he, in the fiqh madhab, or allowed have the Ash'aris to be contained accusations in this categories. Which is not true. For example, they believe that the Ash'ari is not allowed to marry a Hanafi woman. And the early imams, such as Shafi'i, other way, Malik, Ahmad, like Abu Hanifa, Maturidi, they all criticized philosophy. Man which penetrated Shafi'i woman. You know what they said? Took it. They said we apply on them the ruling of the Quran about the people of the book. As a result, today there's a big we can marry women who are from the people of the book. The Ash'aris are following but this philosophy. But we don't allow the people of the book, the men of the people of the book marry. When he divided
a Muslim woman,
the Sunni, the multi-madhhabs, two categories, has a black history. He made the Ash'aris as one of dividing, hating one another. When the Ash'aris leave the philosophy which the four imams prohibited and warned people from, even Shafi'i said anyone who intends to study philosophy or to teach it, he should be beaten up. According to the book Manaqib al-Shafi'i or al-Bayhaqi, and it should be said, this is the penance, this is the punishment of the one who abandoned the book and the Sunnah and learning. He has another video. He said, when Ahl Sunnah are mentioned in the perspective of Shafi'i, three types of seeker of Ilm al-Kalam, people of Hadith, is Ash'aris, abandoning the book and he quotes Imam Safarin. Why don't you call them people of Bid'ah? When the word Ahl Sunnah why you're making it's meant by that I'tizali, Mu'tazili, and Ash'aris and Maturidis. But it doesn't they inherited continue half reading what Imam Safarini said afterwards. They inherited it. He said, And they're proposing
when the Prophet
to the
talked
people
about
that this is madhab of
the
Ahl
saved
Sunnah.
cult,
So
the
Dadoo
saved
is
group,
cheating in
he
this.
mentioned
He's
one.
not telling the truth.
So
Although
the
he
saved
knows
group cannot
the
be
truth.
two.
Anyway, he first
Well,
said
we
the
have
first people of Ahl Sunnah
Ash'aris and
are
Maturidis.
what we call them today, the
We have
Salafis.
Salafis and
Okay, that's
Ash'aris.
good, fine.
Then he
But
said,
Mr. Dadoo,
you
the
cannot
Sunni
combine the
people
two
are those who follow
as
the
one
Athar people of Ahl Sunnah. You
generations.
can't.
Their
The first,
dealing,
the Salafis,
their compliance
they are
is
tracing
to the book of Hadith.
generations, giving
Then
them
he said,
priority over
but those
anything
people
else.
of philosophy,
They're
especially,
not Ahlul Athar.
what is
They
they
are
are Ahlun Nadar.
what is related
They depend
to the
on
matter
their
of Allah's attributes.
mind more
The
than
Ash'aris disagree with
dealing
them.
with the narration.
So how can both
How
be
can those
people
people
of
of
Athar?
only because and people of Nadar
Most of those
can be
scholars
as one
he's surrounded with
cult?
they're
Can't
Ash'aris.
be.
So the Dadoo,
That's the
Sheikh
point.
Dadoo,
Did
let's
not
continue.
quote a Safarini until here. He just used the previous statement, that's all. If he continued reading from a Safarini, he would be finding the same conclusion I'm mentioning to you. That's why I believe about this man. He's great, he's nice, he has a lot of knowledge, mashallah. But in many cases, he has a strategy of
He
not
mentioned Ibn
causing
Khuzaymah.
the ummah to be divided.
Now the Ash'ari scholar,
That's why
who's
he does
called
not tell the
Al-Razi,
truth as should be.
He described the book of
I
Ibn
disagree with
Khuzaymah
that. I
of
say
the book of shirk.
this unity of the ummah
The
should
book
not
of
be on the
paganism.
account of the truth.
And Dadoo
Those
is saying
people,
that
they'll be encouraged
Imam
not to follow
Abu
the
Khuzaym,
truth
Ibn Khuzaymah,
because of
is
the
one
fatwa
of the
this man.
Sunni scholars.
So this is a cheating.
What Al-Razi, the
Sheikh
Ash'ari,
Dadoo.
said about him,
You're not supposed
his
to
book
be doing this. Another final example I
is
want
the
to
book
give.
of shirk.
For example, marriage without wali, it's a catastrophe in
What is the
Islam
title of the book?
because of the
Tawheed
Hanafi
wa
madhab,
Sifat
which
Allah.
allows women to be
Tawheed.
married without
Monotheism.
a father's consent,
said no.
a wali's
It's not
consent.
monotheism.
Now, there's a
It is
clear
the book
ayah
of
in the
shirk.
Quran. Allah said,
So there's a big disagreement.
فَانْكِحُوهُنَّ
And
بِإِذْنِ
Dadoo is
أَهْلِهِنْ.
collecting all
Marry
those
them, that means
together
woman,
as one
by the
Sunni
permission
people.
of their wali.
Brother Dadoo,
By permission of their wali.
that's a felony.
This ayah is
against
very
the
clear.
Aqidah.
This is the
On the account
fourth
of your
chapter,
friends.
Fatiha
Thank you for
al-Baqarah
saying
and
that
Imran
the
Nisa.
Salafis are Ahl
Yes.
Sunnah.
Fourth chapter,
But no
ayah
thanks
number
to you
60.
when you describe
Very
the
clear.
Ash'aris as they are the people of the Sunnah.
Despite that, I found
Yes, in
Sheikh
Fatwas of
Dadoo
the Shia,
was
for
very
example, yeah.
clearly giving evidences
But with the matter
about
of Allah's attributes and many
not
other
to marry without wali.
they're not.
Based on the hadith.
Especially
لا نكاح
following
إلا
the
بولي.
philosophy
There is no marriage
Allowing
without wali.
to be credited.
But guess what? At
to
the
be
end of his
taught
video, he said that the ijtihad of Abu Hanifa,
as
is
Aqeedah
justified.
curriculum in the Azhar in
which
many,
means marrying
this is-
without
we disagree with you.
wali consent.
Calling those people
He justified
people of Ahlus
What
Sunnah.
Abi Hanifa
They're not.
made as
They have to do a small
ijtihad.
thing. Okay,
To me, this
Remove
ijtihad
philosophy
has
from your
no
curriculum.
consideration.
They want.
We love Abu Hanifa,
That's
but the truth, the Quran, the Sunnah, more beloved to us than Abu Hanifa. Dadoo, firstly, he made it good. At the end of his video, he gave justification for the fatwa of Abu Hanifa. That is why I have disagreement with Sheikh Dadoo. His answers to the questions are basic, in general, Blair, not clear. The last point is that people refer this methodology of Dadoo is because of his big Sheikh Al-Qaradawi. And I have an issue with Al-Qaradawi. He's ever worse than Sheikh Al-Dadoo.
Now,
First,
what did
he said
Ash'ari
about
say? He said
the Salafis,
when he repented, my way.
when he
is
was
the way of
asked
Ahmad
about the
ibn Hanbal. That's
Ash'aris
all.
in Al-Azhar University,
The Ash'aris today disagree with
he said,
Imam Ahmad.
all the world,
Have a look at the book.
all the
Fath
Muslim
al-Bari,
world is Ash'ari,
volume
The Sunnis
13, page
are nothing but
350.
shirzimatun
That's why I remember.
qalilun.
or 400.
This is what Pharaoh and his people
he's saying.
described
that the
Musa
Ash'aris
and his people.
did not accept to
Shirdima.
believe that Allah speaks
Very
with voice,
little unconsidered band,
disagreeing on that
group of people,
with Imam Ahmad,
unconsidered.
who affirmed to Allah.
This is how
the
Al-Qaradawi
voice, speaking
sees
with voice.
us. So Sheikh Dadoo, don't ever
As
deceive people
Imam
telling them that
Bukhari
they
narrated,
all agree with one
Allah,
another,
the Day of
Salafis,
Judgment, will be
Ash'aris. That's not
speaking
true.
with a
Even
voice
your
that
Sheikh
can be heard from those who are
doesn't believe it.
close as well as those who are
And
far.
the other issue,
All will be hearing his voice.
the Qaradawi
The Ash'aris disagreed with this.
established
Till now. They say
a
Allah has a soul speech only. He
scholars
speaks in his soul. So how can you include the Ash'ari in Ahl Sunnah?
Unity of Scholars or United Scholars Association. Guess who were the vice president? Al-Qaradawi is the president. Who are the vice president? Two. One is the mufti of Khawarij Ibadis.
No, it reaches to 50.
The other one
I've been
is
quoting
Shia
it.
Rafidi. Ayatollah
Go to my book,
al-Taskhiri.
The
And I got
Encyclopedia
really
of Ahl
mad.
Sunnah. موسوعة أهل السنة.
How dare,
You're gonna
if
find it.
Qaradawi
But anyway,
die, who's going to be the
how do you
head
include
of the Muslim,
Al-Maturidi
so-called Muslim scholars?
in Ahl Sunnah? Do you know
Ayatollah
what
Tashkhiri.
scholars said about
and
him? They said that he is closer
Ahmad
to
al-Khalili,
Mu'tazila than the Ash'ari.
the mufti of Khawarij Ibadis.
Do you know that the Maturidis
Sheikh
accused
Dadoo has no
the
problem.
Ash'aris in disbelief?
He was also a member of this
You know why?
unity.
Because the Ash'ari says,
Al-Qaradawi
"Mu'min inshallah."
took advantage of an interview.
Now the Maturidis
with Al Jazeera.
accused them of
He raised his
being
hands.
doubtful about their
We
iman.
thought he's
So
gonna
he's
be
saying, "I'm mu'min inshallah."
supplicating for a
They're not
Muslim leader that
affirming,
died.
assuring.
He said, I want to take
that they
advantage
have
of
faith.
this
They
interview,
say, "Inshallah, I
asking
have faith."
Allah
Maturidis
to
were not
grant
happy
the
with this.
Pope mercy,
They
who
said
died
the
recently
Ash'aris,
yesterday. May Allah grant him mercy.
committing
May Allah
kufr in that. And prayer is not allowed to
substitute,
be performed behind them.
make up, substitute a better
Inshallah.
leader for the Christians than
So they're
the,
not one.
the dead
They're
Pope.
not included in Ahl
Wow.
Sunnah. No.
Wow. So
Who
that
said they're
means
closer to the
the
Mu'tazila?
surrounding
Muhammad Abu
climate
Zahra is an Azhari Ash'ari
atmosphere
Maturidi
of a
scholar.
Dadoo.
But he had to speak the truth. That the Maturidis, they
So
are
he wants to
far away
maintain the relationship
than
between
Ahl Sunnah, closer to the Mu'tazila.
the Salafis whom he
Sheikh
studied
Muhammad Abu
with
Zahra and many other
in
people.
Saudi
They
Arabia.
declared,
He wants to,
they admitted that this is
compromise, bring all together. It doesn't work. You can't eat it. You can't digest it. You can't swallow it. No. The truth is truth. And I like those who keep themselves standing clearly, standing firm for the truth, giving no compromise, giving
This
no
is not true.
taqiyya, deception,
This is not true.
not to show
The Maturidis
differently what they hide.
in the
No.
fiqh madhab,
The truth should be
they
clear.
have
And that's why
many
we have to be standing firmly,
accusations
clearly
against the Shafi'i.
for the truth. Assalamu alaikum wa
For
rahmatullah.
example, they believe that a Shafi'i man is not allowed to marry a Hanafi woman. The other way is okay. Like Maturidi, Hanafi man marries a Shafi'i woman. You know what they said? They said, we apply on them the ruling of the Quran about the people of the book. We can marry women who are from the people of the book, but we don't allow the people of the book, the men of the people of the book, marry a Hanafi woman. The multi-madhabs has a black history of killing one another, dividing, hating. hating one another.
التركات في غيرها كذلك المذاهب العقلية لأنهم متفقون جميعا على هذه النصوص وإنما يختلفون في الأمور التي يمكن أن يختلف فيها الاجتهاد وحينئذ لا يمكن أن يلام أحد منهم فمن أصاب منهم له أجران ومن أخطأ له أجر وكل مجتهدون ولم يخرجوا عن المنهج. العلم شمس يستضاء.
He has another video. He said, when Ahl Sunnah are mentioned, it means there are three types of Ahl Sunnah: people of Hadith, Salafis, Ash'aris, and Maturidis. And he quotes Imam Safarini, that he said, when the word Ahl Sunnah is mentioned, it's meant by that the Salafis and Ash'aris and Maturidis. But it doesn't continue reading what Imam Safarini said afterwards. He said, when the Prophet talked about the saved cult, the saved group, he mentioned one. So the saved group cannot be two. Well, we have Ash'aris and Maturidis. We have Salafis and Ash'aris. Then he said, the Sunni people are those who follow the athar, the narrations. Their dealing, their compliance is to the book of Hadith. Then he said, but those people of philosophy, they're not Ahlul Athar, they are Ahlul Nadar. They depend on their mind more than dealing with the narrations. How can those people of Athar and people of Nadar can be as one cult? It can't be. So the Sheikh Dadoo, did not quote a Safarini until here. He just used the previous statement, that's all. If he continued reading from a Safarini, he would be finding the same conclusion I'm mentioning to you. That's why I believe about this man. He's great, he's nice, he has a lot of knowledge, mashallah. But in many cases, he has a strategy of not causing the ummah to be divided. That's why he does not tell the truth as should be. I disagree with that. I say, this unity of the ummah should not be on the account of the truth. Because people, they'll be encouraged not to follow the truth because of the fatwa of this man. So this is a cheating, Sheikh Dadoo. You're not supposed to be doing this. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. I saw translated short statements for Sheikh called Muhammad Dadoo. He is a scholar, I admit, but he does not make things clear. For the sake of clarity, he doesn't. For example, he mentioned the hadith of the concubine. The hadith is known. Muawiyah ibn al-Hakam al-Sulami, he counted the sheeps, the number of the sheeps that the concubine came with. So he found them missing one. He got angry. So he hit her, slapped her on the face. He regretted. He went to the Prophet ﷺ and told him what he did. Then the Prophet said to him, bring her. He brought her. The Prophet asked her, where is Allah? She said, in as-sama, in the height. Now, Sheikh Muhammad al-Dadoo, he changed it. despite this narration, as I uttered it, is in Sahih Muslim. What Dadoo did, he brought some other narrations which are not as authentic as this one, claiming that the concubine was dumb. She doesn't speak. And she was giving signs to the height. So what? Either she is dumb or she spoke. At least she signaled to the height. That means Allah is up. So that doesn't benefit you, Sheikh Dadoo, at all. But the authentic narration, as I mentioned, even not only in Muslim, even Malik in his book Al-Muwatta, he narrated it authentically. The same narration. Imam Malik made a slight mistake. Instead of calling the Sahabi Muawiyah ibn al-Hakam al-Sulami, he called him Umar ibn al-Hakam al-Sulami. Imam Shafi'i, he corrected that in 2 or 3 books, as far as I remember. He corrected it and he said that Malik made a mistake in naming the Sahabi in this narration. But Shafi'i did not say that it's not authentic. Shafi'i did not say that this narration is weak. As Ibn Hajar was quoted in Fath al-Bari saying that this narration is in Sahih Muslim and it's authentic. Now, what Dadoo did, he said she was dumb. She doesn't speak. She signaled up. So, now he tried to please, this is his problem. I know Sheikh Dadoo very well. He tried to please his community, Ash'aris, who deny that Allah is up, saying that if you claim that Allah is up, that means you have cornered Allah, surrounded Allah, limited Allah in a place. That's what he claims. So, Sheikh Dadoo, are you correcting the Prophet Muhammad? Are you telling him that he shouldn't be uttering these kinds of horrible words that surround Allah, put him in a corner? Those are the Ash'aris. So be aware of them.
تصورنا أن جارية أخرى في الطرف الآخر من الكرة الأرضية سئلت أين الله فلن تشير إلى الجهة التي أشارت إليها هذه بل ستشير إلى السماء بحقها هي فيمكن أن تكون قدما هذه مقابل قدمي هذه.
Yeah, so this is okay. There's no problem in this. As long as the rounded parameters are different than the normal square one or the flat. For example, if you pray behind the Imam in Mecca and you take the first line, you may be in front of the Imam, facing him face to face while you are behind him. But you are in front of him, yes, because this is a rounded line. It's not a flat line, it's rounded. That's why if your foot meets with the foot of the one who is, for example, in Alaska, he's not going to say you're down, and you're not going to say he's down below you. No, because your feet meet, not your feet and your foot and his head. No. So this is understood. Okay?
جهتي الأرض، هذه تشير هكذا وهذه تشير هكذا، وكلتاهما أشارت إلى العلو، وبهذا يعلم الفرق بين عالم الغيب وعالم الشهادة، وينتفي قضية التجسيم وقضية الحصر، فإن الله تعالى لا تحده جهة كما سبق، وهو العلي لا تحده جهة.
He's saying that there is no direction that can limit Allah. I say Allah does whatever He will. Allah said that He is in the height. Ash'ari himself, he said Allah is in the height apart from down. He is up apart from down. So we affirm to Allah what Allah affirmed to Himself. Since He told us that He is up, so we believe that He is up, giving no consideration to those demonic doubts that if He is up, so what does it mean that He's with you, whatever you be? Those doubts are given by those Jahmi people. We don't give them any consideration. Let's continue.
وبذلك يزول الإشكال في هذا الأمر، وكثير من الإخوة والأخوات ما زالوا يحرصون على تعليم أولادهم وينطقونهم بمثل هذه الجارية، ويظنون أن هذا أعلى مستوى الإيمان، أن يقال للولد مثلا أين الله فيقول في السماء، وهذا ليس، هذه الجارية ليست هي أقوى أهل الإيمان إيمانا ولا أعلاهم مستوى في الإيمان، وهذا مما يفطر عليه أهل الإيمان جميعا أنهم.
This statement he's giving now has no basis. It's meaningless. Nobody said that this concubine has the highest iman over any other one. Nobody said that. But the Prophet said, after she said that Allah is up, she said, not signed, not signaled. The Prophet said to her owner, free her, for she is a believer. So the Prophet approved that she is a believer. Whether she signaled or she spoke, finish, she is a believer. And there's no need, we're not going to argue about whose faith is higher. Nobody said that she has the highest faith. Nobody said it.